Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is December the 9th, 1442 on the ancient moon calendar, 1441 on the ancient sun calendar, 2021 on the Greco-Roman calendar. So one of the questions that was just asked, Justice, you can go ahead and ask that question again so that we can talk about that, because that's important. It's important that we know the difference between the processes that the quote-unquote sovereign citizens have been doing and what the heirs should be doing. There's a difference. It's similar, but it's different. Go ahead, Justice, and ask that question once more with regard to what you just said.
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah, Justice Curley, go ahead. Just ask the same question again.
I guess it would be what the citizen would do, but I saw how to kill the almighty court. How to checkmate it would be to get that fictitious name in all caps, register it with the state of whichever state you're in, and then if you choose not to pay your taxes or whatever they come after you for, when you go to court, you put that on the public record. You have the state print it off, you put that on the public record, and the judge and the rest of them in the courtroom won't dare expose the fact that in private they have you listed with the fictitious name, but you kind of like put it on the public record so that dismisses anything that they would have to say in the long run. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And what you're saying is we've already got that as Moors.
Yes. So let's look at that process that you just said. They're saying register with the state, okay, and then let them know. So what is listen, the fiduciary document is right here on the screen. And all we're doing is, this is after we have liened the non-figure issued by them, by the states, by the United States Corporation Company. You lien that one, that black thing. It's black meaning dead in black ink. You lien that one. And then you sentence that one to go away. And then you introduce your own. It has to be a creditor conveyance method in monochrome ink, okay, which is what we're doing here. All we're doing is saying that the one that the United States Corporation Company issued was fraudulent because it was. They're not the government.
Why haven't you done any of this yourself, you dumb Negroes?
They're not the government.
Come on, Paulie, do some of this yourself.
Okay, hold on for just a minute.
Come on, Paul.
Shut that noise down, because this will go through. We will be getting this information. Here we go, nobility. What we're doing is, see, this is the part that they've been scratching and clawing, hoping we didn't get this part. All of that noise, this is what this is about. So we, because we're the real government, can issue and call it what it really is. It's not dead ink, it's living monochrome ink. And we can do that in all of these different, we can do it in however we want to do it. In capitis diminutio minima, media, maxima, in capitis diminutio nullo. Now all of these, again, have been liened when they were issued by the fraud. They were liened. How do you know the difference between theirs and ours? Is on the lien, don't we put brackets on the lien, on there? We put it in a casket on the lien, right? That's what we do. And that's how you indicate that something is dead. you put it in the bracket. That's all. And that is the difference between the two. And then yours, when you're using your creditor conveyance, all you're doing with your creditor conveyance method is then you notify. And you say, you're not anything dead issued by a fake, dead, fraudulent, whatever. You're living, and you do not domicile in their state of corporation. You are the state. The Empire State of Morocco is ancient. And this is the part of statehood. This is what makes statehood so important. Statehood, yes, that is. Your status can't possibly be correct in their system because they're not correct. Your status is correct when you correct it because you're the government. And then you notify everybody who's sending you stuff that's created by fakes. And you say, no, that's not me. This is me on government letterhead. And then the government letterhead, if you look at how this is done, we introduce and do everything in red and all lowercase letters saying we're the creditor, okay? That's what's here on the screen. We're the creditor. We're the government. We're the state. We're all of that, okay? So this is something that the foreigners have been doing everything that they did by way of the quote-unquote United States Corporation Company, calling that the corporate state or the corpse state, the dead state. In order for it to be living, it must be issued by the living. That's where all of this comes in at. See, Moors have been trying to correct their status, and I'm putting that in air quotes because of the way that they were trying to do it. They were trying to do it, filing it under something, this, that, and a third, and using the United States Corporation Company form. That is not how you can't do it with their forms. You have to actually do it by affidavit from your state, which is you. Okay, from your state. So, more, I'm glad that these types of questions are coming up because they're just affirming, again, what really needed to be done. Our ancestors, you know, the Moors in the past, we honor their work. We see it all the time where they went into these fraudulent corporate courts, and they went in there saying, I've corrected my status. And the court still just did whatever with their corpse, with the created corpse that the corporations created, saying, you didn't correct your status if you didn't do it through the state. That's why statehood was so important. And then when you look at the things that were done in order for statehood to manifest, states have their own economy. They have their own money. They have their own court. They have their own everything. Okay? And they knew that we could do that. Okay? They knew we could do that. And until we decided that we were going to come together and put our differences aside, more, we got to do that. Come together, put our differences aside, and continue with statehood, okay? Noting and knowing and putting on the public record that no, there is no other state but the Moors. We're the state. Then that's where you can start claiming domiciles and conveyances and this and that and this and that. Because when they do it, any piece of paper that's issued by the United States Corporation Company where they're saying there is a debt owed, quote unquote, that is, they're using their debtor conveyance method to do that. They're using the United States Corporation Company dead state. They're saying you're stateless, so you gotta be in the debtor dead state. You know, that's what they're saying. They're saying you're stateless. And if you answer to that and don't rebut it properly, then they're going to continue moving. Well, we are the state. We've already put that on the public record. You're the state. It's not any one of us, it's all of us together. We've already done everything that it took for us to rejoin our ancestors in statehood, because that's all we're really doing. See, people focus on the matrix, and they talk about this false matrix. Well, there is a true matrix also. The true matrix never stopped operating. Our ancestors are still doing everything they've been doing with this true matrix. Still, it's an eternal matrix. What did they do? Well, we all said, okay, we're going to go down here and we're going to be unplugged from this matrix and we're going to plug into the fake system matrix. And then when we declare our nationality, we're unplugging from that one, but you can't just unplug and hang out there. You actually have to plug into, you have to have something to put the plug into. Okay, you plug it into the real state, not a fake bogus one, not a false fraudulent dead one, because you're not dead, you're living. So that's what we're doing when we lean the things that they've done, lean the United States Corporation Company, lean the nom de guerre, lean the Social Security number, and then issue your own living, and it has to, and the issuing is a competent issuing, knowing that you're the creditor. Okay? You have to know that you're the creditor. Okay? So then you talked about registering with the state. All they're saying is, moorishe, y'all need to be, you need to be, and it's not registered, you need to be recorded with your own state. They're trying to tell you that they're faking, but if we keep going to them with their documents, they're going to say, okay, you keep coming here with our forms, then we're going to have to treat you like we treat all the rest of the citizens. That is, but when we do it, and our forms don't look like theirs, it's coming from the real government. That's all this is all about. Okay? So it's another example that I'll give you is this. It's like there's two briefcases. You know, two people sit down on a bench and they have briefcases that look identical. They look similar, except one of them has gold in it and it's made of real leather, and the other one is fake leather and it has trash in it from leftover lunch for a whole week. And I'm just using that as an example. Or let's just say it has a bunch of cosmetic jewelry, fake jewelry in it. They look similar, but they're not the same, because one is issued by someone who knows about the finest leathers and the finest things. And then there's another that's issued by something that is completely not what you want. Well, either you can take the real one or you're going to take something fake. But you know you came with a briefcase that looks similar to that. So you have to know that, no, the real one, we're the real one, not the fake one. This is the real one. Okay? So it's time for us to go ahead and make sure that we have the real government has issued our documents and things like that, and that our documents look like they're supposed to look. Okay. I looked over, even if you go on to things like the Social Security website, you will see, and you look at the history, because they have the history there, you'll see where when they first started issuing back in 1933 or 34, I believe it was 1934, they started issuing, they have photos of those cards and what they look like. Well, they have red on the card, and then they'll put a black number over the red. Or either you look and there's in the back, on the back end of the number, there's a red crest or a red seal. Okay. Someone in the chat, let me see, someone put in the chat, Justice Travis Austin Day put, he said last time he went to court, he told their fake judges, and it's a fake court, that his birth name is a corporation. And owns this on paper. He said he's not that person, so the judge had to let him go. You know, not only that, but then you have to find out, okay, well, where's the real conveyance method? The real conveyance method is issued by the real government, which is you, all of you. Okay, and it's done by court action. So when your conveyance method is issued by court action, then what have you done? You've rebutted a fake court. You've rebutted who they say you are. You've rebutted that you're stateless. You're not stateless. You have a state. It's first of all your state of mind. We know that. Government means to govern your mental. We know that. So when we talk about state, what is your thinking? What are you thinking about who you are? Do you know who you are in your mind? And then can you make that manifest competently on paper by affidavit? Do you have a government? Do you have a state? Are you the government? Are you the state? Yes, you are all of that. You're that. You are the sovereign jurisdiction. And just like our Grand Sheik said last week at House of Reawakening Mind, we are the gold. We've been saying that repeatedly, and we're going to keep saying it to just and keep demonstrating it. We're the gold. We're the coin. However, we are still going to continue manifesting the commercial viability of our gold-backed money. Gold-backed, backed by the Moors, backed by us. It's backed by us, but the gold is the land. The gold is also our words are the gold. So again, but we have to know who we are to even know how to operate in this manner, whereby we're the state, we're the law, we're the government, we're the gold, we're the sovereign, we're the original. We're the originals of everything, of everyone, rather. So that is what this document is all about. It even has definitions and clarifications. Now, if you'll look on this document right here, where we have listed the fake, we put it in brackets. These brackets mean that that's a dead thing. It's dead. The brackets are like a casket. Okay? Your status is correct when you correct it. I love that. That's a great question, Justice, in the chat. That's a great question because it's the truth. Only we have the authority to correct our status that way. It must be done competently. And then what do fiduciaries do? They go ahead and they can govern their monochrome creditor transmitting utilities. These are all creditor transmitting utilities in whatever monochrome font you choose. And then the fakes go in the casket, and they go on a Universal Commercial Code 1 lien. And you lien them out of business because guess what? We are not doing U.S. animal husbandry. We're not doing any of that. We're liening all of that. Get that out of the way because that's not us. We get to say who we are, not fakes. So hopefully, with you looking at these documents, you're able to see the difference and to see what we've done. Again, Universal Commercial Code 1 lien, same thing we've been saying, lien the nom de guerre, lien all of that, lien the social issued by the United States Corporation Company, lien them and put them away, and then stand as the sovereign creditor to all the nations at earth. And then use your documents, but when you're using your creditor transmitting utilities, you're properly stating that you are the creditor. You have to properly and know that. Okay? And when you properly state and know that, your fiduciary document will go with everything that you send out. And then send some delarium too, because again, delarium is proof that we have our own economy. Is our economy all the way like has it joined completely with the matrix that our ancestors are doing their universal economy at? It's joined with our word, and then with us proving that by issuing delarium. And now what are we doing? We're also giving proper notification where the delarium is concerned. Continued proper notification. What does that entail? That entails a bunch of documents that, over the last month, we have put together almost 40 documents in red and all lowercase letters, stating who we are, the liens, the court actions, the liens on the banks, the liens on the United States Corporation Company, the fiduciary document, the Empire State of Morocco document, the municipality document. We have redone we had to redo both constitutions and put them in red and all lowercase letters and correct any, not correct, but update the half that needed to be updated. Okay. Because our prophet knew at that time that if he had told us the half, many would go back to sleep. There's a lot that we had to do, and still there's no end to our demonstration as the heirs, because we're the government. We're the only real lawful government on earth, and when I say we, I mean all Moors. Okay, so and let me say this about what's being done. We are very excited about all of the Moorish activity on the land. Now, we know that some don't agree with some of the things we're doing. We love them anyway, and we support them anyway. This is not a competition because there's no need to compete. We're all of the bloodline and birthright. We're all of the bloodline and birthright. The only issue that we had was in our own mind, because not even the foreigners were they were not any, that's not a competition. It's not a competition at all. All we needed to do was know who we really are, and that little piece is over and done. So we love all our brothers and sisters, and we want to keep loving them. There ain't nothing they can do that. We love them. And our work continues. We're going to keep doing this work. And I'm excited about the documents that we have going out. We've worked really hard, and I'm grateful to the ancestors for giving us the physical acumen and the physical strength to just go. and get everything done. And so, you know, yes, Justice, with regard to your question, we must issue our own, because we're the creditors. Only creditors can issue credit or conveyance methods. Period. Debtors cannot give you any credit. They can't even convert your credit. You must issue all credit to yourself and to the nations at earth. And that has to be done by way of your state, your sovereign state, which is you. Period. That's how this works. I mean, I look at the things that the United States Corporation Company did where they were fooling people into thinking that they were the state. So then when you look back at quote-unquote war rants and things like that, they would always say the state versus some poor little citizen, you know, and some poor little citizen thought they were a court, or some sovereign Moor thought they were a court. And they thought they were facing a whole state of courts by themselves. That's a spell that they tried to cast that would scare people into threat, duress, and coercion type situation. It's a spell. Well, now when we do things, the state is the Moors. It's an ancient empire state. Always has been. So when we do our documents, we just say the Empire State of Morocco, and we spell of O-V, and we talked about that previously. It is a Hebrew word, and it does indicate that a spell is being cast from the sovereign heirs. So, are there any other any questions about what's been said? I'm going to go ahead and put it in. And you can unmute yourself as well, just so that if you have any questions about anything that's been said. Star 6 will unmute. Yes, Islam. Yes, in the chat. To the one who taught you, she was our first. We nationalized through them initially, and we learned so much right off the bat, and we're grateful.
Why isn't Pauline using her delirium to buy groceries?
Very, very grateful for them. Very grateful for them. We love them, and just, you know, we're going to always love them. Okay.
Islam.
So, Islam, Empress.
This fiduciary document, it can't be edited.
So then, if your computer will not allow you to edit it, then you'll have to type it yourself. Just type it out. Take the time to do it so that you become familiar with what's in it.
Okay.
Take the time to do it. It's worth it to take the time to study. That will.
Pauline is a fucking fraud. This is a
document as well. That will help you with studying it as well. We have essentially just gone through again with a fine-tooth comb in every document we've ever put out over this last month. We have gone back through each and every one, word for word, and even some that we hadn't put out. We had not done the Zodiac Constitution in red and all lowercase letters, and it needed to be done in red and all lowercase letters. It needed to be, and we're
why can't you take over First Avenue, Pauline?
Because we honor CMB because of the work that he did as well. So now, again, the prophet said, if you knew the half, so there was a lot that the prophet could not get in and tell because he was busy introducing us to ourselves again. So these other things that we've done when we look at the law and put things in its proper place is that other half. It's just the beginning of the other half, to be honest with you. We never stop learning and growing with regard to all that we're doing as a nation. It's always going to be learning and growing and putting things in the proper place. So, yeah, so take the time to type the document out, because you can see the words on the document. And we encourage all Moors to do that. When I first nationalized, that was one of the first things that I put my energy into, was learning to write writs and liens and things like that, and affidavits and all of that, because it's important to know why we do what we do. You know, Moors can put documents out, but you have to know why that particular document. You know, why are you doing a quo warranto? Well, because the jurisdiction needs to be challenged, or an averment of jurisdiction. You know, we need to know why we do those things, because that's part of the process. You know. So.
And well, this one that you had up today looks a little different than the one on your last video.
Yeah. Sometimes we will, like, when we first put documents out, again, and anytime we put documents out, those documents are a guide for you to assist you, and then your study will tell you what to add, what to take away, or to keep it as is, if you feel comfortable keeping it as is. Because I will say this, when we put documents out, there's even subjects who will take the documents and pull all the stuff that says that they're the sovereigns on the land. They'll pull all that stuff out and use the language. There are more whole nations, and I'm grateful to know this, and I'm glad that they are letting us know this, whole nations of Moors and whole tribes that take the documents that we put out there, put it on their letterhead, their tribal or nation letterhead, and then they fix it the way they want to fix it and put it out there. We knew that was going on. We want them to do that. We want them to do that, to do their study and make it their own. That way, when it comes time to stand on the documents, they can stand on them because they've looked at them, they studied them, they see the changes that are being made, and then they make some changes of their own. All Moors are welcome. That's why we put them out there in the way that we do, is so that it will actually prompt us to really look at them. Really look at them, and then do the study, and whatever your spirit is saying to you about how those documents should be put forth, then do it. Or they can be left as is and still be 100% valid.
Islam?
Islam nobility.
Yaqub Ali, Maryland Territory. The fiduciary document is a .rtf file, .rtf. But when you first see it in Google, from the Google Drive, you cannot edit it while it's in the Google Drive. You have to download it to your computer, then open it up in whatever Word document you use, whether it's Pages or Word or Libre, according to the operating system you use. So you have to download it first, and then open it up in a program that can read it. But it is editable. Islam.
It is. It is. And its editability depends on several things. Number one, it depends on your operating system. Number two, it depends on the programs that you're using within your operating system. And number three, it depends on, you know, the technical, you know, how technically you can convert, you know, to convert, just like what you just said there, Justice Yakub. You just described the process for your system, your operating system, and how you do it. I have found also that whenever I get documents that seem like they're uneditable, I'll email them to myself, and you'll be able to see the whole thing in the email. And then you can copy and paste from there. Generally, most email programs will put the document in a format that you can just pull right off of it. But I get documents too that can't be edited.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Empress. And thank you for all that you're doing for our nation. Every demonstration counts, every last one, because we're casting and breaking spells with each and every one. I don't know about you all, but I know that the spell is broken over our land. I'm glad about that. We needed that spell to be broken. So, are there any other questions or comments? Any wisdom? Thank you, Justice Yakub, for that wisdom. We appreciate that. Any other questions or comments? Islam. So, with that being said, we will go ahead and end the call here, and we'll meet back again on Thursday, a week from today. We won't have the Sunday and Wednesday calls. We'll just meet on Thursdays, and that way we can get more of these processes done, these documents out, so that we can give you an update on what we're doing, and we'd love to hear what you're doing, and then let's compare notes and share information, and that way we can continue the grand rising. Islam. Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine here. Islam.
Islam. Pax et amor.
Islam.
Peace and grand rising. Peace and love, everybody.
Peace.
Peace and love.
Islam. Islam.
No.
Islam.
Grand rising. Grand rising.
Grand rising.
Grand rising.
Peace and love.
Islam. And we will disconnect in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.